Okay, good evening, everybody. Can we call the meeting to order at 7:06 and please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll open up the meeting to public comment for agenda items only. Anyone have any public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment and we'll move into our special presentation. This evening we got leaders of the pack, so we'll ask the elementary school to kick it off.
Alrighty. Come on, Anshu. In the middle. Good evening, everyone. We're here with Anshuman Chaudhry. He is also known as Anshu, right? He's very positive. He's our 5th grader. He's in Mrs. Super, who is here in Mrs. Henry's classroom. I'm just going to read off a few things, accolades, great things that people said about you in the building, okay? Right, so your classroom teachers share the following. There are students who come to the class and add to every aspect of the day. Anshu is one of those students. In terms of student behavior, he's respectful and hardworking. Anshu will frequently begin his day with a genuine good morning and easily start a conversation about his Boy Scout experiences or inquire about an event that was shared the previous day. Anshu was proud to participate in raising the flag each morning. It is truly a pleasure and honor to have Anshu Chaudhry in our Highland Elementary 5th grade class. According to Ms. Hughes, our STEM teacher, Anshu was one of the most enthusiastic students I have ever had the pleasure of teaching. He is always ready and willing for any new project or assignment we have. He is a great team member and a good role model in class. I'll share one more of many, okay? Mrs. Adamak, our band teacher, shared, Anshu is very musical and excels on the trombone. He is always smiling and enthusiastic in lessons and rehearsals. Anshu is always willing to help out if needed and always thrives to be the best. And that's why you are our leader of the pack.
I just wanted to add one more piece about the American flag. So every morning this man is here. He hasn't missed a single day raising the flag, which is pretty cool. And he is not off by a single minute every day. Like he's like talks to the custodians, hey, it's ready to go. We got to go. It's this time. So our flag is up on point every day. So it wasn't for him because if he can't find the custodians, he finds me, and he's like, let's go, we got to do this. So he keeps all of us in check. So I can't say it enough. It's pretty cool that he's into it. So I appreciate it. He came to me in the beginning of the year and asked if he could do it. So since September, he's been raising the flag. So pretty cool.
Would you like to take this or you good? Congratulations. Your middle school.
All right. So first I want to say that, Evan is our student of the month, Evan Tobin. And I first want to say that he is missing his modified baseball game to be here tonight. And we're sad that he had to do that, but he was so excited to get this award that he's like, you know what?
I'm gonna get his picture taken.
What you did. So anyway, Evan's teachers had nothing but amazing things to say about him. So I'll read a few of them. I can't read all of them because there's so many, but I will read a few. So from Mrs. Barton said, Evans always has his hand raised and eager to give his answers when others are struggling. He does his best to help his classmates learn in every class setting and is a very diligent lab partner. He is all around the kindest, most motivated student of all. Mrs. McGrath said, Evan is one of the kindest, most respectful, and mindful students I have worked with in a while. He is authentically concerned about others and shows empathy and true caring. His curiosity and excitement, regarding past and future events in his life is both refreshing and enlightening. Good things are in store for this young man. Mr. Brenny, who is here, said Evan is enthusiastic and has a big smile. His big smile greets me every morning and makes my day better. He is the best example of what we would want in all of our students. Mr. Banks said Evan is always participating and giving 110% no matter what the project. He has a kind heart and I never hear him saying something negative about anyone or anything. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to have Evan as a student this year. And lastly, Mrs. Neer said, Evan makes everyone around him smile and feel welcome. Evan makes all of his peers feel loved and connected, even the ones who have difficulties making friends. Evan is a true star and well-deserving of this award. Congratulations, Evan. There you go.
Good evening, everybody. It's my honor to introduce this month's leader of the pack, Ved Patel. Congratulations as well to the other leaders of the pack. As a new administrator in the school, I get really excited about this because I'm still learning everybody and all the great things that they offer for our school. So I get excited when I get all the replies from the teachers, like, oh, okay, I get to read something cool. So I put together a list of pretty amazing things, so I'm gonna share them out with you. Mr. Welch says, Ved is an extremely diligent student. He collaborates well with his peers and exemplifies the character qualities of a model student and member of the community. Ved is also a gifted language learner who approaches assignments and projects with a refreshing sense of humor and creativity. Mr. Cozzolino says, Ved is an amazing student who impresses him daily. He works hard. He has a good sense of humor. So I'm starting to learn that about you. You have a good sense of humor. Right? So that's cool. He can be counted on to do the right thing, and he's always looking to improve. I especially want to highlight the many hours he poured into Science Olympiad this year. He taught himself to build and code a digital scale and a Wi-Fi receiver to help our team out. Never complained once about how much time or effort it entailed. That is the perfect choice of leader of the pack. Mr. Iazoni says, Ved is the GOAT. All right. Taki, can you translate that for us?
Greatest of all time.
The greatest of all time. So you're the greatest of all time. Cool. He's a hard worker. He has a witty sense of humor. So that's humor again. That's 3 times. Always helping others. Miss Saylor says, Ved is the kind of student who really cares about learning. He is curious and asks really good questions. He's the definition of an independent learner, and he's exceptionally responsible. Mr. Schott says, Ved is a valued member of the concert band and percussion section. He is a true asset to the music department. He helps his section and is a quiet leader for the entire ensemble. He makes the bands better every day through his musical talents. And then finally, Ms. Whiston says, Ved is truly one of a kind. He is always eager to go further in a topic and willingly accepts challenges. His positive demeanor and sense of humor, again, adds brightness to the classroom. So those are some pretty cool things that his teachers had to say about Ved Patel for this month's Leader of the Pack for the high school.
behalf of the entire Board of Education, congratulations to all our leaders of the pack, well deserved. Parents, if you'd like to leave now, because I know some of these children being leaders of the pack have to go home and study. On your way home, if you have not voted, please go to the band room and vote. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Keep it up. Yeah.
Yes.
Move it.
Sorry.
Every week, every time we move. It's always like, are we sitting in that front? No, it's like a little buffer.
Must be the row hot seat. Okay, we'll move on. We have our consent agenda, and the consent items are going to be from FA1 through D4. Again, if you'd like to pull one item out and have discussion, we can do that. If not, we'll take them as a consent agenda items and vote on as a block. So can I have a motion to move our consent agenda items? Motion by Tom, second by Heather. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
So we do have a few of our coaches here this evening. I'm scanning through this very quickly. So we'd like to recognize Mr. Rizzo and Mr. Stacy. I believe I got everyone. Thank you for your service and being a coach in the past and for accepting those positions moving forward for the future.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a long agenda to have to see if they were all here.
Give you a lot of time to do that. Okay, under curriculum and instruction, our principal's monthly report. Elementary school.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if you were gonna.
Well, I wanted to see you get up and down.
Right.
Don't worry, he's gonna get up and down a couple times just when he's standing there, right?
All right. One thing I did want to, that's not on my monthly report, but I did want to highlight this. Just a bunch of pictures from this morning, and it just shows like the community that's here. We have Anna Riley that's at our building, and obviously you can read this, but so Anna has, and I'm going to say this wrong, ichthyosis, Harley Quinn ichthyosis, which we brought awareness to it today. The entire building. This is not even, we had to take the picture first thing this morning. There's a lot more staff that was also involved in this and had pictures. But mom and everyone came in, the family came in, so it was really kind of cool. And I was really proud of this moment, like that this many people turned out. And, the t-shirts go towards research and stuff. So, but anyways, we all, I just was amazed by the community and the love and the support and the awareness of this extremely rare skin. So her outer layer of her skin. So, but anyway, so I was gonna wear a tutu with Anna. However, she strongly told me no, and that she was the only one wearing a tutu. So I was more than willing to wear one. But, so anyways, yes, my socks do match the rainbow. So they are, and she loves unicorns. And so I grabbed some unicorns from my office, and I have unicorn socks on. So we have this weird, we had this thing going on. So me and Anna have a connection that I didn't know we had. So here we are. But anyway, so I just wanted to say thank you, like, just really awesome. So this is kind of something I needed to say. Do you guys have any questions on my board report?
You know the unicorn socks on now, do you?
I do.
Oh,
Oh yeah, listen, I'm not,
yeah.
there they are. They're there. Yep.
Those are high class ones too.
Listen, I pulled it all the stops for Anna, so couldn't disappoint her. They'll only be worn once this year, so.
You're only gonna support her once.
Well, when we wear the shirt next year, I'll be, yeah.
He has
Yeah.
5,000 pairs of socks.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Well done. Thank you.
Megan?
Good evening. All of you have on your tables, I put it in my board report about the 2 students that did the autism awareness in April, and that was the pledge that the students signed during lunch, and then those are the bracelets that our students and staff are now wearing. So I just wanted to give each of you one of those as well. And then I just wanted to, one other addition, on Friday, May 12th, Tiana Concepcion, admissions counselor for SUNY New Paltz, met with the 8th grade students during their English classes. During her presentation, she helped students gain a basic understanding of college and higher education. She shared about the college application process, and she left the students with a reminder that whatever they decide to do in life, they need to be passionate, motivated, and make sure that it makes them happy. So we're trying to get more admissions counselors to come into the building and meet with our students in 8th grade to kind of get them talking about college and career and readiness as they get into the high school. That's it. Any questions? Great.
All good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Very busy time of the year at the high school. There's a lot of things to wrap up as we approach graduation and regents exams, etc. So in my report, you'll see a number of things that we listed for this month. The only add-on that I had, we're getting ready to wrap up AP exams. The regular AP exam session is now finished. We have a couple of extra students who had to take it during an additional testing period over the next week and a half or so coming up. I definitely want to give credit to Mr. Opitz, who jumped in literally with 2 feet starting on March 8th, jumping into the process, not having dealt with it before. For those of us, Mr. Zimmer and myself, who have dealt with the AP process, it's very in-depth, that's for sure. So Mr. Opitz did a great job. I want to thank him publicly for all the amazing work that he did in getting the exams wrapped up, making sure students knew where they had to be, getting the project together, etc. This year we had 137 students, 137 exams taken this year. The number of students, actually we still have a few more students that are going to be taken through the 19th, I believe, is the last exam. A couple of straggler students up here. So a very busy time with the high school. We have a lot going on. May 25th, as you saw in the report, we do have our Memorial Day ceremony out front from 9:30 to 10. Please join us if you are at all available. And then after that, we'll be going into the pep rally and the field day after that. Any questions at all?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, our directors' reports. I believe we have all our directors here this evening, so if you have any questions for our directors, feel free to shoot them out. Again, our directors are doing a fabulous job. I have one for Kathy. With the closure now of Vineyard Avenue, has that affected the bus routes in?
Yes, the closure of Vineyard Avenue has delayed some buses. We are running late because of that, because now we're going all around by Chapel Hill.
And has the light at Chapel Hill caused any delays also? I mean, I know with probably after school.
Coming down Chapel Hill from the 9W area, that road there gets backed up at 4 o'clock. That's the witching hour there. But it's not so terrible with the light. It moves along. There is some backup, so.
Right. I believe now that they're saying the closure is going to be for the entire length of the project, now up until September, October, November, whenever. Okay. I know originally they said it was gonna be closed for 2 to 3 weeks, and now we're 4 or 5 months.
Kathy, are we tracking any increase in fuel usage might be associated with rerouting?
I have not tracked that, no. We just
Yeah.
started actually rerouting in the last week. It actually, Vineyard has been closed down.
Ideally, it's only for another month, right?
Yeah.
Before we use the full.
But then it's gonna go into next year.
Next school year, yes.
Yep,
School year.
next school year, yes, I'm confident in that. I'm sure Pete could say it. It's gonna be closed in September, October as well.
We had a similar issue when they were replacing the bridge over New Paltz Road here a bunch of years ago. And I know
Over the
at that
rail
point-
trail.
Excuse me?
Over the rail trail.
Over the rail trail, yes. And
Everybody had to go out to
I
299.
thought there was some studies done back then regarding that. So maybe looking forward, we can institute some form of study there, please. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions for our directors?
No questions, just wanna say thank you, Kathy and Pete, just for the additional information on the fueling and the hedging and stuff that we do, how we purchase it, so appreciate that information.
Thank you to our director.
Athletics, Frank, do you want to, we're into sectionals now with some of our teams. Can maybe you give everybody
Yes, softball wrap up later this week. Baseball already finished the regular season. Both qualified for sectionals. Baseball have a home sectional game. Girls lacrosse will be in a championship game next week. Boys lacrosse will finish up their season tomorrow. Track is next week. So within a week or so, everything will be winding down. So it's been a pretty successful season for the most part.
Good. We're all good? Okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to our student rep. Taki, you're up.
Good evening all. Starting off with the elementary school. A first grade field trip to Esopus Meadows took place over 3 days last week. Mrs. Hopper, the grade level coordinator, shared the following about the exciting first grade exploratory experience. Through the Tideline program, students received a hands-on learning experience offered on the shores of the Hudson River. It addressed the next generation science standards as students completed science-based activities integrating English language arts, math, and the arts. Throughout the day, students sang songs that incorporated dance and movement, learned about environmental conservation and ways to protect our river, and engaged in a quiet reflection on how the river impacts their lives in meaningful ways. Learning stations included sign fishing, a fish study, an aquatic macroinvertebrate study, navigation, and beachcombing. A big thank you goes out to all the first grade teachers, TAs, and parent volunteers that participated in making this trip a success. Moving on to the middle school. Tomorrow, 8th grade students will be going to a STEM Education Day sponsored by the Hudson Valley Renegades and Dutchess Stadium. They are excited about the day and the great weather that is forecasted. Spring Modified Sports have been having an incredible season, and we are very proud of all their hard work and dedication to their activities. At the beginning of the month, Mrs. Osborne took her studio and art students on a field trip to Olana Historic Site. Olana is a New York State Historic Site and a National Historic Landmark. The students were able to go on a tour of the house, grounds, eat lunch, and have time to take in the area and sketch on the property. The students had a wonderful time and really enjoyed having the chance to see the artwork up close and experience it firsthand. And lastly but not least, we have the high school. A big congratulations goes out to our softball and our baseball teams, both who qualified for the section playoffs. And varsity track will be headed to the Mahal meet this Friday, sections next week, and a few of our athletes qualified for states the following week. So big congratulations to all those athletes and all those teams. The annual senior versus junior powder puff flag football game will take place here at the high school on Thursday, June 1st. The Highland High School Band and Choir went on a trip to Six Flags to showcase their skills and represent our school. The band scored exceptionally well, and the choir scored superior to many other schools. And any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, Dr. Boyd.
All right, so from our minutes, you'll see we had another busy month of meetings, another 96 meetings that occurred over this last few weeks. So with that, we are getting closer to wrapping up those meetings and finalizing our plans for next year. I've met with 2 of the buildings, and I'll be meeting with the 3rd one soon with building administration to look at planning for next year. So to make sure that, you know, we're looking at our staffing and looking at where we might be putting individuals and making sure all of our programs and services are going to be set up and that they're built in appropriately into the master schedule. We do have a desk audit coming up. So there's companies that look at our Medicaid services and they'll review it and they audit things to make sure. So we have to give responses to some of the stuff that we've put in. The one that we're working on right now will be for the 21-22 school year. So they're a little bit behind and they get caught up and we'll go through and ask questions and we'll provide some documentation. And then we'll be meeting with our Medicaid group that we use to help with our billing. We meet with them twice a year and we go through, we'll talk about specific students and cases if there's any issues, but really we'll talk big processes and changes. We do have our representative right now has been phenomenal. He is so on top of everything and it's been great. We just found out we're going to be switching to a new one, so we're sad to see him. He's moving to another department, but I'm sure our next representative will be just as good. So we'll be meeting with him on June 6th to get a review, and at that point we'll get more of a final idea of where our numbers are for the year. But there'll still be a few more weeks after that, but we'll have a pretty good idea of where our numbers are for that. We had another training yesterday, again, on some of these areas that were audited and reviewed from the state. So, you know, we have to attend some of those to make sure we're providing all the necessary documentation when they look at numbers. And lastly, this Friday, monthly, I meet with all the PPS staff members throughout the county, and we're meeting with some folks from the state and from Ulster County specifically. As you know, even with pre-K, some of the responsibility of our younger students seems to be growing on the district of what our responsibility is. So at a preschool level for our students with disabilities, we're in charge of creating a program and then working with agencies that are contracted through the county. The way things are going, ultimately, it could be something that, you know, the district gains more responsibility in that. So we're trying to get ahead of it to meet with some of these individuals to make sure that if they are moving in that direction, we need time to prepare for that and what that will look like. So we'll be meeting with some of those individuals on Friday to hopefully get a better idea. If there are changes coming in that, we'd like to know about it sooner rather than later.
Any questions for Dr. Boyd? Okay, thank you. Mr. Zimmer?
Good evening, everyone. I have a few items to share with you this evening. The last board meeting, Heather, you asked about opt-out numbers, I'm pretty sure, so I have some specific percentages to share. At the elementary school for the New York State ELA exam, grade 3 was 15% opt-out, grade 4, 24%, grade 5 was 27%. So overall average for ELA at the elementary school was a 22% opt-out. For math at the elementary school, grade 3 was 14%, grade 4 was 21%, and grade 5 was 25% for an overall opt-out percentage of 20%. That's the elementary school. At the middle school, it seems the numbers are a little higher. ELA test, grade 6, the opt-out number was 33%. Grade 7, 47%, and grade 8 was 50% for an overall opt-out of the ELA exam at the middle school was 43%. For the math test at the middle school, grade 6 was 31%, grade 7, 52%, and grade 8 was 37% for an overall average of 40% opt-out for math at the middle school. Looking at the numbers, it seems that the older the student, the larger the percentages. So, which is a good sign, I think, because the younger the student, they seem to be participating more in the test.
I don't recall ever seeing a 50% opt-out, especially in the ELA. That seems remarkably high.
Last year was, I think, 48%, 49%.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
It's almost identical to numbers from last year.
I know it's the grade level, but it almost seems like there's a word, a culture that's being developed. You know, I'm not saying from the school, but whether it's among social media, as I know that was always one of our sources. But I think that when we see numbers that huge, there's just really something that we need to look into and see if we can address.
I just wonder if it's numbers that are going to age out, or if it's something that grows as the child gets older. And I mean, my kids do it to me. I don't want to take the test. You know what?
No.
Don't take the test. I took it. You're taking it. You know? So I don't know. You know what I mean? It depends what it is.
Well, as we all know, after once ninth grade starts, there's no more opting out of. You can't
Right,
opt out of
exactly.
Rebus exams. So that was their last shot of opting out of anything.
Well, I think that's part of what we used to try to emphasize is that part of being successful in these exams is being acquainted with how they're conducted.
Absolutely.
And it will affect them later on in their high school careers to be familiar
It's good
with
practice to
methodology.
set. Absolutely. But the numbers seem to be pretty comparable to last year, maybe a little lower overall. Not that 50%, but
that ELA though,
it's a little shocking.
In the third grade, though, at a low number.
Yeah, 15%.
That's been trending down.
Yeah.
The lower grade.
Grade 3 was 15% for ELA and 14% for the math. Which is,
Do we know how compared to like county?
I don't have that information.
I think it depends on which school district you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you want to compare to our neighbor next door in New Paltz, I think we're doing fairly well. I think their opt-out numbers are much, much higher.
I think what's concerning at the younger age, and I guess I'm just pontificating at this point, but these aren't. I understand there were definite flaws in how it was being conducted, 10 years ago.
Yes.
Now I think that they made great efforts to remediate that, but this information is crucial to know where the students are, how we can address their needs properly, and encourage them towards success. So ironically, and this is my own personal opinion, but I think I could back it up with substantial facts, parents who are encouraging that outside of exceptional cases where there is a remarkable amount of stress, I think they're actually, it's to the detriment of their students and their students' success.
Makes sense. So next, I have a UPK update. The registration process for our universal pre-K program is in full swing, overseen by our district registrar, Elizabeth Salnitri. As we receive declinations, so some people are declining, and we're about a third of a way through our wait list. We just called number 15 on the wait list today out of 40. So people have various reasons for declining. But as we receive the declinations, we're diligently working through the waiting list to offer some of these spots. We anticipate completing the registration process by the beginning of June. The deadline for all participants to register with Elizabeth Salnitri is the end of May. So come first week of June, we should be all set, and I'll be reaching out to the preschools with the final rosters to share with them. I'd like to put in a plug for the Highland Central School District Art Show. I had some time earlier today, and I was able to stop by the library and walk through and see some of the really cool artwork that's currently on display at the library. So everyone is invited to visit the library, which is at 14 Elfting Place in Highlands, and request access to the meeting room from the library clerk. I was allowed, even though there was a knitting class going on while I was there, I was still allowed in and walk around. I didn't disrupt the knitting class, but I was able to see a lot of the really cool art. And there are so many pieces there, and I emailed the art teachers today that I would display in my home, a lot of this stuff. It's really cool. So I encourage everybody to go out, and if you have some time, to go walk through the meeting room there. It'll be on display for 2 more weeks until May 30th. So be sure to drop by if you can. And this Thursday, I'm thrilled to be part of an educational leadership panel organized for participants of the Ulster BOCES new administrator program. The panel will address various current topics, including leading educational institutions in the digital age, fostering inclusive and equitable learning environments, empowering teachers and students through effective leadership, navigating challenges and opportunities in educational reform, and cultivating future-ready skills in students. Following the discussion, we'll gather for a celebratory luncheon to honor the accomplishments of the program's participants. I look forward to celebrating alongside my esteemed colleagues, Mr. McCormick and Mr. Opitz, who both, I hope will be there on Thursday in Port Ewan at
We'll be there.
BOCES. Excellent. I look forward to answering your questions and eating lunch with you. And that's all I have this evening.
Wait, getting lunch?
We had lunch. Did you get the menu? I got a copy of the menu just in case you're curious. I'll share it with you.
Send them my way.
And the lunch is made by the culinary students there, of course, which is always wonderful and delicious.
Bill, in regards to the UPK and the reason for those wanting to step away from being selected, is there a reason that's pretty standard with some of the parents, or is there all over?
We don't require a reason, and not everybody gives a reason. Some do. I believe that there are some people who just threw their name in the hat in the ring just to see what would happen, and they weren't prepared for getting chosen. Some people didn't get their first pick, and I did share last time that everybody got their first or second pick, but there are some people who really wanted their first pick. Some of them, I think, some of the parents explained to me that their children currently go to one of the pre-Ks as a 3-year-old, so they don't want to uproot them and bring them to another one. They'd much rather pay out of pocket for that, so that makes sense. I kind of inquire as I go, but it's really none of my business why they're saying no at the same time.
Right.
So I'm curious about it too, but I was surprised that we got through number 15 today. And we'll continue. There are a few more. So every time we offer the seat to someone, we give them 3 or 4 days to decide. And some go and they do site visits and they decide this is the place for me or it's not the place for me. So there are various reasons. And I'm just as curious, and I try to get the information, but I don't know.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for? Okay. We'll move on to our superintendent's report.
Okay, so at the beginning of May, Bill and I attended the Ulster County Law Enforcement Center's safety monthly meeting. This was not very well attended, I would say, by the county as a whole. It was more about red flag laws and things of that nature, but we attended, and I believe Walk Hill was there, so we actually conversed a little bit about safety plans between districts, which was a nice extra that came out of that day. Just a reminder to the board, we will be honoring Holly Brooker at the next Ulster County School Boards Association meeting. That is next Thursday evening in Kingston. Last night, Lindsay and I finished the last of the budget presentations with the middle school and the high school PTA. Those presentations went very well. Thank you to Lindsay for her preparedness and the ease of which she presented the information. I think set people's mind at ease. They may not have necessarily agreed with all of the numbers, but I think they saw the work that went into putting that budget together. A reminder to anyone who has not had a chance yet, the budget vote is open until 9 p.m. We have 2 candidates on the ballot, Mr. Barone and Ms. Welch. So you have about an hour and 15 minutes if you have not gotten down to vote. I have been in discussions with the town of Lloyd to revise the SRO contract for the upcoming year. As you know, and we mentioned this in all of our budget presentations as well, the town of Lloyd had a grant to start us out in the program, and so the contract was written knowing that the grant would expire midway through the year, and then we would be responsible for the remainder of the year. So the contract revision will be that we're responsible for the whole year. So I've already gotten a draft from their legal counsel, forwarded it to our legal counsel, and that came back late this afternoon. So Lindsay and I will be sitting tomorrow and going through the changes that were made to that contract. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., 3 of our students will be honored at the annual Rotary Essay Diner at breakfast. So 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, I did not have the names. You might have the names. One of you might have the names. I have numbers of what student essay numbers are. I know Alicia Pavesi because I saw her mom this evening, came in first place.
Eliana Ellis.
Eliana Ellis came in second place. Why don't I get you the actual, do you have it all there? I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
We have 2 as well.
Oh, there's 4 now. There were 3 when
I think they awarded in middle school first and second because we had 2, and then they had
All right, so I reported something that I don't really have all the information on, so I apologize about that. I will get that for my Friday update so that you know, and we will have pictures. I will be there in the morning to make sure those pictures are taken. Holly Brooker, unfortunately, is out of town this week. Normally, she's a Rotarian, so normally she would get those pictures, but I will make sure that I am there to get those for our website and for theirs. A reminder, the Rotary Service Above Self dinner is Friday night, June 2nd. We will be honoring one of our high school students and Mr. Mango from here at the high school. And then June 6th will be our next Board of Education meeting, and this is our reception meeting where we honor the top 10, the retirees from the school year, and our tenure candidates. So we will be moving next month's board meeting, the next meeting, to the cafeteria to account for the anticipated large number of folks that we're going to have in attendance. And that's all I have.
Joel, do we have an update on the debacle with our phone system? I mean, are we up and running now?
Yes and no. We weren't the only ones. Town of Lloyd Police Department had some issues with their phones as well. Right now, we are able to make calls in and out at both the middle and the elementary school. We're able to receive calls at the high school through the elementary line if you use the 1000 number. This has all been posted on our website and we keep updating it by the day. We also have assigned a cell phone number to each one of our buildings so that if a parent does need to get in contact with us and they try to get through and for some reason the phone is down for that time, there is a cell phone that is in the office for them to reach us. But we are very close to having a solve is what we are told as of this afternoon. I don't know much more that I can say about that at this point, but we have actually, as an administrative team, looked at another service provider. So I'll have to be making that emergency signature on that, but I will make sure the board is aware and we will get that approved at the next board meeting.
Good.
All right.
Thank you. Any questions for the superintendent? Okay. We'll move on to new business. Our reorg meeting, be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, determines that the reorg meeting for the 23-24 school year will be held on Saturday, July 1st at 8 a.m., which will be held in the boardroom, which is this room, E32 at the high school. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Janine, seconded by Heather. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Agreement, Westchester Institute for Human Development and Highland Central School District, be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the attached agreement between Westchester Institute of Human Development and Highland Central School District, effective April 28, 2023 through June 30th, 2023, as presented to the board at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Heather. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Affiliation agreement, Highland Central School District and Marist College, be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the attached waiver of conflict affiliation agreement between Highland Central School District and Marist College as presented to the board at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Camille, second by Heather. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Affiliation agreement, Highland Central School District and Bard College, be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon a recommendation of the superintendent, approves the attached waiver of conflict affiliation agreement between Highland Central School District and Bard College as presented to the board at this meeting. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Ed, second by Janine. Discussion? All those in agreement?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Unused snow day. Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, designates Friday, May 26, 2023, as the one remaining unused snow day. Can I have a motion, please? Motion by Janine, second by Camille. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Under old business, we have our second reading for policy 3282-3282F, recognition and dedication school facilities. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approves the following Highland Central School District policies as presented to the board at this meeting. It's policy number 3282/3282F, recognition and dedication school facilities. Motion by Heather, second by Camille. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, under miscellaneous, anything for the good and welfare of the district? All right, we'll open up public comment for general items. Please state your name and you're up.
Stand over there?
You can stand right where you are.
Okay. Right where you are. Good evening, everybody. I'm Stephanie Santagata. I'm an English teacher in the high school, and I have the possibly dubious distinction of being the teacher with the most years of service in the high school at this point. And I have a letter to read, and I'm going to give everybody a copy of it as soon as I finish and get over there. But it's a good time to be a part of Highland Central Schools, and I have a lot of perspective on that. So I'm reading a letter from the high school faculty and some of the non-teaching staff. We hope this letter finds you well, and we appreciate your continued support. Our purpose for writing to you is to express our collective appreciation and gratitude for our principal, Kevin Murphy. His passion and dedication to his profession have been evident since he began as our assistant principal a few years back. When we learned he was going to be our next principal, our staff was at ease knowing that we had a strong leader taking control. Mr. Murphy has been nothing but an asset since his time here began. He made it a point to make connections and build relationships with both the student body and the staff. He treats all the students and staff with the utmost respect, dignity, and care. Mr. Murphy's dedication to the success of his building is second to none. He was a constant and reassuring presence for all as we collectively navigated reopening during the global pandemic over the past 3 years. Mr. Murphy's unwavering support of his students has been seen throughout his time. Students, staff, and district families have recognized his presence at virtually every event that any of the building's clubs, teams, or groups have hosted. He does not attend for acknowledgement, thanks, or recognition, but to show that he cares deeply for his building and truly believes in his students and staff alike. He has a care for his building that is unparalleled and is not taken for granted by the staff and students. The climate he has worked tirelessly to establish has seen this building make great strides in student administration, and student-student connections. Mr. Murphy is the epitome of integrity, one who does what's right, not for any recognition, notoriety, or photo opportunity, but rather because it is the right thing to do. He has been beyond supportive of his staff and students, whether running on foot to an accident scene to care for students involved in a prom night car crash, supporting students through anything they may need at a moment's notice, or being available to any staff, anytime, day or night. Mr. Murphy continues to lead from the front. There is no single employee in recent memory who embodies the district's mission statement of students are the priority more than Kevin Murphy. Even after serving as both principal and assistant principal for most of the school year, he shows an unmatched dedication to the students, the building, and the staff. Thank you again for hiring this talented, dedicated, and passionate leader for our building. We look forward to working with him for years to come. here is the signatures of everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think, Mark, you had your hand up.
I had a question, really, I think for you, Bill, about the pre-K. There are about 40 slots is what you have?
Correct.
And the reason I ask about it is because in Marlboro, I think they have like 80, and then they're fully funded for 80. How does that money work between one district versus another?
Excellent question. Do you know the answer to that? It's what the state gives us.
It's what the state allots us, so the state allotted us to have that many. Plus, we put out an RFP because we cannot do it in-house, so it's also who responded to us and how many seats that they can give us that we can, so it's kind of a combination.
Oh, the centers?
The
Yes.
centers,
Oh, okay.
yes. So they had 40, between the 3 spots that we got the RFP back from, was 40 spots available, which is also enough that the state had allotted us to have those spots.
Do you know what dollar amount that it works out to be?
You took at the end what the state's giving us?
The 40 of them?
Offhand, I don't, but each one of the pre-K centers has a different price because they have different overhead.
Oh, okay.
Or because they have different staffing and different programs, so
Right.
it varies from center to center.
Okay, thanks.
So they function as vendors in a sense?
Yes, exactly.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, the board have a need to go back into executive session. You want to continue our conversation regarding contracts and salaries? I mean, we're gonna be here. Okay. Motion, we're gonna have a motion to go back into executive session for contracts and negotiations. We will not reconvene out in public. So can I have a motion to go back into exec? Motion by Heather, second by Janine. All those in favor? Thank you. If you haven't voted yet, please go out and vote. We have another hour.
Delay the executive, right?
Yes.
You vote? Sure.